Resources. RES.
You can film me for the
Resources. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like at the end. This is what your graph should look like. Take 2 more minutes to finish the graph. Start at year 3.
I mean, like, for like.
Okay, so we said limiting factors limit population. If there's more water, population goes up. If there's less water, population will go down. That population is called carrying capacity. Okay, so carrying capacity is the number of individuals, write this in, of a population that can survive in an ecosystem at a given time. And it is based on availability of limiting factors. So carrying capacity is the number of individuals of a population that can survive in an ecosystem at a given time based on the availability of limiting factors, so food, water, etc. Okay, so based on this graph, what do you think the carrying capacity is? Sylvia, reach on a light down. What do you think the carrying capacity is for deer? Okay. We have to find a population limit based on the amount of resources. So, when there are 12 deer, can 12 deer survive in this ecosystem? What happens when we hit 12?
They die.
The population starts to go down. Why does the population start to go down when we hit 12 deer? Michaela?
Less resources.
There's not enough resources, so the population starts to go down. When the population starts to go down, what happens to resources? Mikey? Which is blue.
When the population goes down, the resources will go back up.
Right, okay. So we have to find an estimation of where we think how many deer there can be to still survive. So based on your graph, about what number do you think looks good for the amount of deer that can survive in this ecosystem? Jillian, what do you think?
8.
I'd say about 7 or 8. When it's at 7, it's going up. When it goes below 7, well, the wolves are, we'll talk about later, but I'd say the carrying capacity, I want you to draw this into your graph. We can estimate the carrying capacity is about 7 or 8 deer. So this is the carrying capacity for deer. This is how many deer can survive. Because when we go over this, they start to die out. We don't have that much data, but from this, we can estimate. And what about wolves? Can we have 6 wolves in this population, in this ecosystem? No, it's too many. What do you think is about how many wolves can survive in this ecosystem? What could we estimate looking at this graph or your graph? Guys, look at your graph. What would be a good estimation for how many wolves you think can survive? Jorge, what do you think?
Like 2 or 3.
I'd say about 2 or 3. Okay, so draw it in. Here's your carrying capacity for wolves. Okay, now you guys can start to answer the questions. If you need to finish your graph, go ahead.